Welcome to my channel. This is Heather Pickin, creating your fearless vision. And today we're going to talk about how to let go of approval issues. And if you want to win one of my books in digital form, you can enter the free drawing for one of these books, Woman on Fire Entrepreneur, or I have my other book, my latest book, the La Dolce Vita Formula, A Woman's Guide to Living a Fearless and Fabulous Life. All you have to do is comment below which book you want to be entered into the drawing. Every month I select one lucky winner, and thumbs up on this video. And the reason why I ask you to do the thumbs up is that more women just like you will learn about this channel. And my mission and vision is about empowering millions of people on this planet, specifically women. And also make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you are alerted to new videos that I post just about, actually every week, if not maybe in the future, multiple times during the week. Okay, so let's talk about approval issues, why this is important. I find that a lot of women as little girls have been raised as people pleasers. So the question is, do you have the pleasing disease, right? Do you have it? It originates back when you were growing up and thinking that you needed the approval of your parents. So think about it, mother or father, whoever raised you, for some reason, it was imprinted in your subconscious mind that you weren't good enough. And so that carries on over to your adult life. Now, let me just kind of share a story with you. I work with clients all around the world, mostly women, very smart women, executives and entrepreneurs. And I will tell you, it has nothing to do with intellect, but everything to do with how they're programmed. So I was working with this client who was having a hard time creating boundaries in her business. And she actually was just starting a new business. And one of the reasons why she didn't launch it was because of her mother, right? She had this program where she believed that she couldn't go out and be successful because she had to, kind of placate her mom, making sure that she was okay instead of pursuing her own dreams. And so what was interesting is that literally created boundary issues for clients she was attracting, number one, and also things like asking for the sale and even running her business. So then, when she made that decision to run her business, her mom was trying to demand a lot of her attention. And so can you see, it has nothing to do with intellect. It has everything to do with your subconscious mind. What are those programs that are running the show that are showing up in your life? And so what happened is, number one, I showed her on a conscious level the correlation. There's always a cause and effect. And we started to create boundaries. We started to create boundaries around what was happening. And what was interesting is once we started to do that, everything started to line up. She started attracting better clients. She actually fired some clients. And I really do believe, we attract these things into our life. Sometimes they feel like chaos, but they're always there as lessons. Okay, so I always want people to kind of see the blessings and the lessons so that you can transform to another level of your life. And that, to me, I look at as human beings, we are having this experience to evolve. And if you don't evolve in any area of your life, that part of your life dies. And you actually regress, you regress, especially in your mind and your physical body. So realize what I want you to look at is if you are having approval issues, number one, identify where did they originate? And you could probably go back to your earliest time and see where they originated. So I work with clients all around the world. I pinpoint where they originated literally in minutes, because part of my training and understanding human behavior is just understanding the timelines, understanding that there are specific, highly charged, negative perceptions when someone has actually created that memory. And so it's usually just asking a couple questions. We can go to the specific moment. And then I realize that is what's running their psychology, right? That is what's recreating the program of the approval issues. Now, I want you to realize, as a woman, if you're a man that's watching this and you have these issues, this is true for you, but you will never move forward if you make the opinions of other people more important than yours. And we have just been trained. We have been trained to just drop everything, especially women. We've been trained that we have to make everyone else's life work. But when it comes to us, we're last. And so you have to unlearn this by just allowing yourself to pay attention to the signs. What is not working out? How do you feel when you keep just people pleasing, right? You have that pleasing disease. How do you feel when that is happening? And so what happens, some of the drawbacks, if you keep bending over backwards, pretzeling yourself, when you're not following your highest values, there's actually a formula that makes your life work. And when you're not following it, and you are actually giving up who you are, your unique formula, your identity, through, let's just say, the lens of approval issues, you will actually start creating more stress. And if it gets worse, if you don't do anything about it, your body will regress in primitive stages. So you're actually regress mentally and physically. Neuroscience has shown us that if we're not being true to ourselves, our body will start regressing. We'll start pruning away the connections in our brain so that we deteriorate our mind. I'm not going to get into psychoneuroimmunology, which is how the mind and disease are correlated. But I want you to know, if you don't navigate around approval issues, that is the reality. So I think it's good for you to understand what's happening, how did this originate, but also that you can take back your power. Okay. So how do you take back your power? Well, number one, identify your unique formula. If you're not following that, that's probably your people pleasing, right? You're living in the approval zone. So I'm going to create a link below to a video and finding and identifying your unique formula. When you follow that at all times, your life will expand in all areas, all 7 areas of your life. So this is really important for women to realize. When you're following this specific formula that is unique to you in your 7 areas of life, and your highest concentration of your top 3, that is when you will maximize your potential. That is when you will attract and align those amazing clients, go to the next level of your career, have the health and vitality that you want, make the money that you desire. But it has to start with understanding that. And when you have that formula, what's really cool is that you know exactly when you are just trying to people please, right? You know when you're having that pleasing disease by not following unique formula. So let me just give you an example. I used to attract these relationships where one of my highest values, one part of my unique formula, was being healthy and working out. And I used to compete in bodybuilding and fitness. And I wanted to keep that healthy lifestyle. Actually, let's flash back when I was competing, and I would go out with these guys. They would just say, oh, you can't do that, or you can't eat that way. And so sometimes I would cave in. Now, here's what would happen. When I was not being true to myself, when I was pleasing, right? I didn't have any boundaries. I would start gaining weight. I would start being miserable, and I would feel blocked, right? But now, fast forward, I got smart. Right? Sometimes you have to get a little angry in order to change, in order to have these boundaries. So it's okay. It's okay. I really believe, we have to sometimes get a little upset or angry, or however you want to language that, in order for you to be like, you know what, it's time to change. And so flash forward today, and when I decided to get back into being in a healthy relationship, I told myself, I will no longer tolerate being in a relationship with a person that doesn't understand my boundaries, that doesn't understand that health and fitness and working out is important. And it took me all of those years to realize once I understood that we are all divinely created to have this unique formula. No two people on the planet have the same set of values. It's like, wait a minute. If I'm following my formula, I will align myself with the right people and resources. And I will also know it's an indication if I'm off track. Okay. So that is a measure of what you can do when you're not creating boundaries, healthy boundaries for yourself. Look at your unique formula. You live by your top 3 highest values. As I mentioned, watch that video. I'm not going to get into it today. But what I want to say is that, just think about some of the things that are important to you and what you're neglecting. And so if you're neglecting it, typically you're neglecting it for someone, right? And, you get into the people pleasing, right? You get into having those approval issues because you feel that other people are more important than you. And I will tell you, you got to make yourself number one. If you don't, you'll start creating resentment for the person. Let's just say if you're in a relationship with your parents or your family or even your clients, right? So you must identify your unique formula, create these healthy boundaries, like know who you are. When you know who you are, it is like having a superpower. But you want to create or identify what those boundaries are, right? So maybe you've been in relationship after relationship, like, gosh, what is going on? It's a pattern. It's a pattern. And it's a pattern because you have the approval issue. So what do I need to do in order to change that? Well, let's just establish some boundaries. So when I'm working with clients, one of the things we do is we create a framework. So create a framework if you have kids, your partner, your family, like a mother or father, maybe you're taking care of them, maybe they're living with you, as your parents get older, sometimes that happens. You absolutely must create these boundaries. If you don't, as I mentioned, your health will suffer. Your health and your purpose, your identification of how you want to live your life, like what you feel your life's purpose, it will diminish and you'll probably stay stagnant because you're just living your life for other people. So that's something I want you to think about. What are those boundaries? If you have a business, write down some of those things that you are creating these healthy boundaries. So let's just say if you're in a relationship and you want to work on your business and like, hey, let's go out, let's do this. You have to have some kind of balance that works for you. Otherwise, that relationship's not going to work out. So you could say something like, hey, I'd love to go out, but I can't tonight because I've got this thing I need to work on. And I really appreciate you supporting me. Now, if your partner gets upset, I would really question that relationship. I mean, you can't make someone quote unquote happy. If they understand, if they're aligned with your unique formula and they can appreciate you for that, then they'll definitely understand, right? So I would definitely make sure that you have those boundaries in every area that you feel is just like a challenge. So you got to write it down. Writing it down will help bring it to the forefront. So what are the boundaries I'm going to create? Where do I feel like I'm quote unquote pleasing? And have a script. Recently, I was helping one of my clients in my mastermind group. She was going away and, going to see her family for the holidays. And she said, Heather, every time I go away, I feel like people want to push me and pull me in all different directions. And the last time she went home, she actually landed in the emergency room because she just felt so depleted and just being pulled in all these directions. So we created a strategy and we actually created a script of the things that she would say to her friends and family. So creating a script of what you're going to say, it really helps you to take your power back, right? If you give your power away, there's going to be nothing left for you. So that would be number one. Number two, be okay with the idea of people not liking you or ruffling feathers or upsetting the apple cart. And I know that sounds crazy. Be okay with your parents throwing a fit, your partner throwing a fit, your family throwing a fit, your kids throwing a fit, because what you're doing is you're essentially training people that you will no longer succumb to, approval, like seeking that approval. Like you're not going to be a pushover. And this may seem challenging in the beginning, but what's really cool is once you establish these boundaries, once you have the scripts and strategies, and also realize that last part, that you are not here to live your life to please other people. You're not. You are here to be the most authentic expression, that truest expression of yourself. A lot of women don't get that. But if you don't, like, stay true to yourself, then you're going to find yourself being resentful, either your mother, your father, your friends. So take your power back and realize, especially if it's in your area of social and you just don't want to go out with your friends because you're working on something or you're tired. If they're truly your friends, they will understand. If they're not, then guess what? Get new friends and create what those friends, like your ideal friends, would be. Part of what I teach in my work, in my mastermind on 101, is creating your fearless vision, which is telling me what you want in all 7 areas and creating a master strategy for that. If I'm working with women, coaches, and consultants or business owners, we tend to focus on one area but support the other areas. But my thing is, if you don't have a fearless vision for your life and follow it, then you're going to live your life for other people, which I find a lot of women are doing. And that's why they feel so stressed out, right? The stress created is created by yourself, right? Stress just doesn't come from anywhere. You're allowing yourself to be stressed out. So you want to look at the signs and symptoms when you're living your life for approval. Look to see how you feel in your body. Check your body, right? If someone says, well, you have to do this, and then you do it and you really don't want to do it, how do you feel? Do you feel uneasy? Do you start feeling sick? Do you have aches and pains, right? Whereas before you felt really good. So that is feedback, right? Your subconscious mind is trying to connect with your conscious mind by creating a symptom to give you a wake-up call. So how do you feel? And then what is your dominant thought pattern? So if you find that you're trying to live for approval, do you have that conversation in your mind that's taking up a lot of mental real estate, that you go back and forth and you're having an argument? That tells me you're living for approval and you're not being true to yourself. So by following that, you'll no longer live your life for other people. You'll stay true to yourself and you'll actually excel in every single area of your life. To me, this is the formula for living a fulfilled life if you follow it. So again, don't be concerned about what other people think, and realize that you are going to piss people off. It's just inevitable. But as long as you stay true to yourself, your life will flow. So I hope this video helps. If it did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my video, and comment below. Comment below. Tell me what your boundaries are, or do you have issues with approval? If you need some help, if you're having issues, maybe it's client issues with approval, and you know it's bleeding into your business or with family, reach out and connect with me, and maybe it'll be a good fit for one of my programs. You can contact me at Heather at heatherpickin.com. Until next time, live fearlessly. Take care.